Welcome everyone to the first episode of the Truth Hunters podcast. As it's our first video, it's fitting to start off with some introductions and explanation for what the purpose of this channel is. So what I hope to do in each episode is introduce a topic that lands in the field of conspiracy or controversy and ask questions about why people do or don't believe. The topics may range from plausible to maybe even downright crazy. I won't claim I'm an expert in any of these topics, and I'll do my best to introduce the arguments with the least amount of bias as possible. For our first episode, I'm kicking it off with something that has seen a pretty big resurgence in popularity throughout all of pop culture. If you read the title, you'll know that what I'm talking about today is the idea of flat Earth. Some of you may not be too familiar with the concept, and others may be pretty deeply ingrained in the movement. Flat Earth is exactly what it sounds like. The theory that the concept of our world being a globe is false, and instead, it's a flat plane. Some of you might quickly disregard this idea as ridiculous or crazy, seeing as you've been taught since you were a kid that the Earth, and the rest of the planets for that matter, are globes spinning in our galaxy. So why do people believe in the flat Earth? So the majority of the arguments that come from flat earthers focus on observational evidence. For example, science says that we live on a curved globe that spins at speeds of approximately 1,600 kilometers per hour. That's about 1,000 miles per hour. Yet, when you look out at the horizon, say you're on a beach, you could see large, expansive areas of land on a flat plane. And maybe you ask yourself, well, I don't feel like I'm spinning throughout the galaxy at 1,600 kilometers per hour. So, observational science does in fact have a history as being socially accepted. The most famous examples probably include Sir Isaac Newton's falling apple or the displacement experiment done by Archimedes. There are things that you see that are very clearly indicative of what is happening in the world. It would be unfair to write off someone's observations solely because they contradict your own theories. On the other side of that same coin, it would also be unfair for flat earthers to negate experimental observations that contradict with their beliefs. For example, there are experiments that accurately measure the distance around the world based on the globe model, and there are also experiments that prove the motion of the Earth. I believe the biggest problem we really face in this debate is the barrier to entry. It's a lot easier to believe your own eyes and your own senses than it is to interpret or especially replicate any number of elaborate scientific evidence. Another point of contention in this theory focuses on the third-party evidence presented from organizations like NASA or governments. What they ask from people is a level of trust, and what they're showing to the public is accurate and true. I don't know about you, but I personally have no way of getting to space and getting my own pictures of Earth, so I have really no other option than getting that level of information from third-party sources. Some people do believe, and have actually been proven correct to varying degrees, that what we learn from major corporations and international governments is actually falsified. That belief branches off into dozens of other theories, which we won't really get into today, but we will talk about in the future. The question I'll leave you all with to think about is this. What are the motivations for these third parties to deceive us? Why would they do this? What do they get out of it? If you want to discuss this question or even introduce other topics you'd like me to talk about in a future video, feel free to leave a comment underneath this video or in our Discord server. If you like this video, remember to like and subscribe. To get access to even more exclusive content, feel free to join my Patreon community. I'm going to link that below. Hopefully in that I'll be getting into further detail on these topics, maybe some of the math, and we'll have a lot more fun.